Have you started noticing that going downstairs or getting out of a chair isn't as easy as it used to be? That could be a sign your leg strength is fading, a challenge faced by millions of Americans over 60. Even more concerning, many seniors are unknowingly making it worse with exercises they believe are helping. All across the country, older adults are doing workouts that actually put dangerous stress on their joints, trigger muscle inflammation, and weaken already fragile bones. These risky moves are often found in popular fitness videos or suggested by well-meaning trainers, but they're simply not built for aging bodies. In this video, we'll uncover the 5 most harmful exercises for seniors and introduce safer, more effective alternatives that help you build strength without risking injury. Stay until the end because the 5th exercise might be one you are doing right now, and understanding why it is harmful could save you from months of pain and rehabilitation. Before we begin this important discussion, please share in the comments which exercises you currently include in your routine, and let us know if you have experienced any unexpected leg pain or joint discomfort during your workouts. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell for more essential health insights designed specifically for thriving after 60. On leg press machine, the hidden joint destroyer. Walk into any gym across America and you will see them. Older adults straining against massive amounts of weight on the leg press machine, convinced they are building strength and maintaining their independence. Unfortunately, this popular piece of equipment represents one of the most deceptive threats to senior leg health, masquerading as a safe alternative to free weights, while potentially causing serious damage to the very joints it claims to protect. The fundamental problem with the leg press machine lies in its design, which forces your body into an unnatural position that places enormous stress on your knee joints and lower back. When you sit in that angled seat and push against heavy weights, your knees are forced to bend far beyond the range they would naturally use in daily activities. This extreme flexion, combined with heavy resistance, creates crushing forces within the knee joint that can accelerate cartilage breakdown and worsen existing arthritis. What makes this particularly dangerous for seniors is that the machine gives a false sense of security. The seated position and guided movement make people feel safe, leading them to use much heavier weights than they would attempt with free weight exercises. However, this perceived safety is an illusion that can lead to devastating consequences. The machine eliminates the natural stabilizing work that smaller muscles would normally perform, creating an imbalanced development that actually makes you more vulnerable to falls and injuries in real-world situations. The angle of the leg press also places significant stress on your lower back, particularly the discs between your vertebrae. As you push against heavy resistance with your knees pulled toward your chest, the pressure in your spine increases dramatically. For seniors who may already have compromised spinal health, this additional stress can trigger herniated discs or worsen existing back problems. Perhaps most concerning is how the leg press machine teaches your body to move in ways that do not translate to functional strength. The movement pattern is completely artificial and bears no resemblance to any activity you perform in daily life. This means that even if you build strength on the machine, that strength may not help you climb stairs, get out of chairs, or maintain balance during normal activities. The safer alternative lies in bodyweight exercises and light resistance training that mirror natural movement patterns. Wall sits, assisted squats to a comfortable depth, and step-ups using a low platform provide the same muscle strengthening benefits without the joint crushing forces. These exercises teach your body to move in coordinated patterns that actually improve your functional abilities and reduce injury risk. As we move away from the deceptive dangers of machine-based training, let us explore another exercise that, despite its popularity in fitness circles, can place excessive demands on the aging musculoskeletal system of seniors. 2. Deep squats, the flexibility trap that backfires. In the world of fitness, deep squats have achieved almost mythical status as the ultimate lower body exercise, promoted by trainers and fitness influencers as essential for maintaining mobility and strength. However, for Americans over 60, attempting deep squats can transform from a beneficial exercise into a recipe for injury and long-term joint damage that undermines the very goals they are trying to achieve. The appeal of deep squats is understandable. They appear to be a natural human movement, and younger fitness enthusiasts can perform them with apparent ease. However, the reality for most seniors is far different. Decades of sitting in chairs, driving cars, and living in a culture that does not require deep squatting have fundamentally changed the flexibility and mobility of older adults. Attempting to force these range of motion patterns can stress joints, tendons, and ligaments beyond their current capabilities. When seniors attempt deep squats, several problematic issues arise simultaneously. First, the extreme knee flexion required places enormous pressure on the cartilage behind the kneecap, an area that is already vulnerable to wear and tear in older adults. This pressure can accelerate degenerative changes and trigger painful inflammatory responses that can persist for days or weeks after the exercise. The ankle mobility required for proper deep squats is often severely limited in older adults, particularly those who have spent years wearing supportive shoes and walking primarily on flat surfaces. When the ankles cannot flex adequately, the body compensates by rounding the lower back and shifting weight onto the toes. This compensation pattern places dangerous stress on the spine and can lead to falls or loss of balance during the movement. Deep squats also require significant hip mobility that many seniors have lost over the years. Attempting to force this range of motion can strain the hip joint capsule and surrounding muscles, potentially leading to pain and reduced mobility rather than the improved function that was intended. The hip joint in older adults often has reduced lubrication and cushioning, making it particularly vulnerable to damage from extreme ranges of motion. The safer approach involves partial squats performed to a comfortable depth, often using a chair or bench as a guide. Box squats, where you lower yourself to a seated position and then stand up, provide all the functional benefits of squatting while respecting the current limitations of your joints. These movements can be progressed gradually over time as flexibility and strength improve, but they never require forcing your body beyond its comfortable range of motion. Chair-assisted squats allow you to maintain perfect form while building strength in the exact range of motion you use for getting in and out of real chairs. This functional approach ensures that your exercise routine directly improves your daily life activities, rather than potentially compromising them through overly aggressive movements. While we have addressed the dangers of forcing extreme ranges of motion, our next concern involves exercises that combine multiple challenging movement patterns in ways that can overwhelm the balance and coordination systems that become increasingly important for senior safety. 3. Cossack squats, the balance destroyer masquerading as mobility. Among the more recent additions to the fitness world, Cossack squats have gained popularity as a dynamic movement that supposedly improves hip mobility and unilateral strength. However, for Americans over 60, this exercise represents a perfect storm of instability, extreme ranges of motion, and asymmetrical loading that can quickly transform from a mobility exercise into a fast track to injury and compromised balance. The Cossack squat requires you to shift your entire body weight onto one leg while extending the other leg out to the side, then lowering into a deep squat position on the supporting leg. This complex movement demands exceptional balance, hip mobility, ankle flexibility, and single leg strength simultaneously, creating a cascade of potential failure points that become increasingly dangerous as we age. The balance requirements alone make this exercise inappropriate for most seniors. The movement involves shifting your center of gravity laterally while lowering toward the ground, creating a scenario where loss of balance can result in falls to the side or backward. Unlike forward falls, which people can often catch themselves from, lateral falls frequently result in hip fractures or wrist injuries that can be life-altering for older adults. The extreme hip mobility required for Cossack squats far exceeds what most seniors can achieve safely. The movement demands that one hip flexes deeply while the other extends and externally rotates to an extreme degree. Forcing these ranges of motion can strain hip joint capsules, stress the labrum, and create inflammatory responses in muscles and tendons that are already dealing with age-related changes in flexibility and tissue quality. The single-leg loading aspect of Cossack squats places enormous stress on the supporting knee joint, particularly as you lower into the deepest part of the movement. The combination of lateral weight shift and deep knee flexion creates shear forces within the knee that can accelerate cartilage breakdown and worsen existing arthritis symptoms. Perhaps most problematically, the Cossack squat has no functional carryover to daily activities. Unlike basic squats or lunges, which mirror movements like getting out of chairs or climbing stairs, the Cossack squat is a purely athletic movement that does not improve your ability to perform any real-world tasks. This means you are accepting significant injury risk for an exercise that provides no practical benefits. The safer alternatives for improving lateral hip mobility include supported side lunges using a wall or chair for balance, seated hip circles, and gentle leg swings. These exercises provide similar mobility benefits while eliminating the balance challenges in extreme ranges of motion that make Cossack squats so dangerous for older adults. Standing lateral leg lifts performed while holding onto a stable surface can improve hip strength in the frontal plane without the extreme positions and balance demands of Cossack squats. These exercises can be progressed gradually and safely as strength and mobility improve. From these complex multiplanar movements, we now turn our attention to exercises that, while appearing simple, introduce impact forces that aging bones and joints are increasingly unable to handle safely. High-impact jumping exercises, the bone shock that backfires. The fitness industry has long promoted jumping exercises as excellent for building power and maintaining bone density in older adults. Plyometric workouts, jump squats, and box jumps have become increasingly popular in senior fitness programs, often justified by the claim that bones need impact to stay strong. However, this oversimplified understanding of bone health has led to a dangerous trend where well-meaning seniors subject their aging skeletal systems to forces that can cause more harm than benefit. The theory behind impact training for bone health is partially correct. Bones do respond to mechanical stress by becoming stronger. However, this principle has been misapplied to older adults without considering the dramatic changes that occur in bone quality and joint health after age 60. The bones of seniors are not simply smaller versions of young bones. They have fundamentally different properties that make them respond differently to impact forces. When you land from a jump, your body must absorb forces that can be several times your body weight. Young bones, with their dense mineral content and robust internal structure, can handle these forces and respond by becoming stronger. However, older bones often have reduced density, altered internal architecture, and decreased ability to repair microscopic damage. This means that the same impact forces that might strengthen young bones can actually create small fractures and accelerate bone breakdown in seniors. The joints face even greater challenges with high-impact exercises. The cartilage that cushions your joints becomes thinner and less resilient with age, providing diminished shock absorption capabilities. When you perform jumping exercises, this compromised cartilage must absorb tremendous forces that can accelerate wear and trigger inflammatory responses that persist long after the workout ends. The balance and coordination demands of jumping exercises create additional safety concerns for older adults. The rapid movements required for plyometric exercises can overwhelm aging reflexes and balance systems, increasing the risk of falls during the exercise itself. Unlike controlled strength exercises where you can stop mid-movement if something feels wrong, jumping exercises commit you to completing the movement once you leave the ground. Perhaps most concerning is the delayed onset of problems that jumping exercises can create. Unlike acute injuries that occur immediately, the damage from repeated high-impact forces often accumulates over time, leading to gradual increases in joint pain, stiffness, and functional limitations that may not become apparent until weeks or months after starting the exercise program. The safer approach to building bone strength and power involves progressive resistance training with controlled movements. Step-ups onto low platforms, wall push-ups, and resistance band exercises can provide the mechanical stress that bones need without the joint-jarring impact forces. These exercises allow you to gradually increase intensity while maintaining complete control over the forces applied to your skeletal system. Water-based exercises offer another excellent alternative, providing resistance training benefits, while the buoyancy of water reduces impact forces on joints and bones. Aqua aerobics and pool walking can improve cardiovascular fitness and muscle strength while actually reducing stress on the musculoskeletal system. As we transition from exercises that shock the entire system with sudden forces, we encounter our final category: movements that, while appearing controlled and beneficial, create dangerous instability patterns that can undermine the very balance and coordination that become increasingly crucial for senior safety. 5. Single leg Romanian deadlift, the stability nightmare in disguise. On the surface, the single leg Romanian deadlift appears to be an ideal exercise for seniors. It is promoted as a functional movement that improves balance, strengthens the posterior chain, and enhances hip mobility. Fitness professionals often recommend it as a progression from basic movements, presenting it as a sophisticated exercise that addresses multiple fitness components simultaneously. However, this complex movement represents one of the most deceptive threats to senior safety, combining instability, asymmetrical loading, and balance challenges in ways that can quickly overwhelm the aging nervous system. The fundamental issue with single-leg Romanian deadlifts lies in their inherent instability. The exercise requires you to balance on one leg while hinging at the hip and extending the other leg behind you, creating a scenario where multiple systems must work perfectly in coordination to prevent falls. For seniors whose balance systems may already be compromised by age-related changes in vision, inner ear function, and proprioception, this exercise demands capabilities that may simply no longer be available. The movement places enormous stress on the supporting ankle, which must constantly make micro-adjustments to maintain balance while also dealing with the changing weight distribution as you hinge forward. This ankle stress is particularly problematic for seniors who may have reduced ankle strength and mobility from years of wearing supportive shoes and walking primarily on flat, even surfaces. The hip hinge movement required in the single-leg Romanian deadlift demands exceptional hamstring flexibility and hip mobility that many seniors have lost over decades of sitting and reduced activity. Attempting to perform the movement with limited flexibility forces compensations throughout the body, typically resulting in excessive rounding of the lower back or forward shifting of weight that compromises both safety and effectiveness. The asymmetrical loading pattern of single-leg exercises can exacerbate existing imbalances and create new ones. Many seniors already have subtle differences in leg strength and function from old injuries, arthritis, or natural asymmetries. Single-leg exercises can magnify these differences, potentially leading to increased pain and dysfunction in the weaker or more compromised leg. Perhaps most concerning is the cascade effect that occurs when balance is lost during a single-leg Romanian deadlift. Unlike bilateral exercises where you can simply set the weight down or step back to regain stability, single-leg exercises commit you to a position where recovering from balance loss becomes extremely difficult. The forward-leaning position combined with single-leg support creates a scenario where falls are likely to be forward or sideways, both of which can result in serious injuries. The cognitive load required for single-leg Romanian deadlifts also presents challenges for many seniors. The exercise demands simultaneous attention to balance, form, range of motion, and safety, creating a mental workload that can overwhelm processing capabilities and increase the risk of errors or accidents. The safer alternatives focus on building the same muscle groups and movement patterns while maintaining stability and safety. Bilateral Romanian deadlifts performed with both feet on the ground provide the same hip hinge pattern and posterior chain strengthening without the balance challenges. These can be performed with light weights or even just body weight to great effect. Supported single-leg exercises, such as single-leg stands while holding onto a wall or sturdy chair, can improve balance and single-leg strength in a controlled environment where falls are prevented. These exercises can be progressed gradually as balance and strength improve, but they never sacrifice safety for intensity. Reclaiming safe and effective movement. Through our exploration of these 5 dangerous exercises, we have uncovered a troubling pattern in senior fitness: the misapplication of training methods designed for young, healthy athletes to older adults with fundamentally different physiological needs and capabilities. The leg press machine, deep squats, Cossack squats, high-impact jumping, and single-leg Romanian deadlifts all share common characteristics that make them inappropriate for most Americans over 60. They demand extreme ranges of motion, create high-stress forces, challenge balance systems, or combine multiple complex movements in ways that overwhelm aging capabilities. The path forward requires a fundamental shift in how we approach exercise after 60. Instead of pursuing maximum intensity or copying movements from younger fitness enthusiasts, the focus must be on sustainable, progressive activities that respect the current capabilities of your body while gradually building strength and function. Every exercise should pass the test of improving your daily life activities while minimizing injury risk. The alternatives we have discussed share important characteristics. They are scalable to your current ability level. They mirror functional movement patterns you use in daily life. They can be stopped or modified mid-movement if something feels wrong. And they focus on building strength and stability rather than testing your limits. These principles should guide every exercise decision you make. Remember that the goal of exercise after 60 is not to prove your strength or recapture your youthful capabilities, but to maintain and improve your ability to live independently, move confidently, and enjoy the activities that bring meaning to your life. This requires patience, wisdom, and the courage to choose safety over ego. If this information has opened your eyes to potential risks in your current exercise routine, please give this video a thumbs up and share your own experiences with exercise injuries or concerns in the comments below. Let us know which of these 5 exercises you may have been doing and tell us about any safer alternatives you have discovered. Subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell to stay updated on evidence-based health information designed specifically for thriving after 60. Most importantly, share this video with friends and family members who may be unknowingly putting themselves at risk with inappropriate exercise choices, because everyone deserves to age with strength, dignity, and freedom from preventable injuries.